What up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. You know who's back in the game? Autotempest.com. They're sponsoring this episode. We love Autotempest. We've been talking about them for years. It's the one-stop shop for busy people looking to buy their next used car. And why do I say it's specifically for busy people? Because it saves double work. I'm a busy person, and I don't mind work. I work really hard, and it's great because I love what I do. But I hate doing it twice. I hate doing any work twice. When it comes to looking for a car, there's so many different sites. You have to input the same information over and over. It's not just double work. It's triple, quadruple work. Auto Tempest brings it all together to one place, saving you a ton of time. We're talking about nationwide listings from Cars.com, Car Soup, Cars Direct, TrueCar, eBay Motors, comparing you with results from all of Craigslist, not just locally, nationally. But that's not all. Auto Tempest is continuously improving and adding new sources of listings, new search filters, and most recently, they added search alerts so you can sign up to get emails when new listings matching your search criteria show up. We are all busy people, or at least I hope we are, and searching for your dream car shouldn't feel like a chore. Save the headache, enjoy your new car sooner with Autotempest.com. All of the cars in one search. Go to Autotempest.com/TST so you know that we sent you. Doesn't cost you anything. It just makes us look cool. Autotempest.com/TST when you're looking for any used car. Autotempest.com/TST. We are also brought to you by Sennheiser, which is really cool because we have been using Sennheiser products to get audio for like literally decades, and now they are getting in the earbuds game. This is so sick. They sent me these earbuds, and I have had a couple of problems with earbuds in the past, right? Fit is the biggest one. A lot of earbuds, especially the ones from the company that makes my phone, they just fall out of my ears, whether they're wired or wireless. They just fall out. I have those big ears, I guess. The Sennheisers, boom, I just put them right in and they fit perfectly, shake my head around, they don't fall out. It's great for when I'm cycling. It's really great for when I'm driving my old Italian cars with crappy stereos. Then also, of course, we're talking about sound quality. The Sennheisers just blew me away. The stuff that you can buy from people that make your phones, it's okay, don't get me wrong, but literally Sennheiser does pro-grade audio. That's probably why you've probably never heard of them unless you're in production, in which case you've only heard of Sennheiser. They are the product the company that's been making our microphones for years and years and years. These earbuds are super sick, and while other companies have focused on phones, tablets, Sennheiser puts sound first, right? These new Momentum True Wireless 2 earbuds, they deliver a fabulous listening experience, and they've been finely crafted for even the most discerning listener. There's up to a 28-hour battery life. They can last all day and then some. And CNET called the Momentum True Wireless 2's clearly superior sound quality to the AirPods Pro and the earbuds to get if you value sound quality over everything else. So they're talking about sound quality in an objective setting. I'm saying they sound great and they actually fit right. You know what I mean? They feel really high quality, they look really high quality, they pair to your phone super fast, and why should you settle for anything less? Come hear the difference with Sennheiser. Right now, my first 100 listeners that go to Sennheiser.com/podcast, right? Sennheiser.com/podcast. Use promo code TIRE, TIRE, and you'll get 15% off the Momentum True Wireless 2 earbuds or any of their amazing headphones. That's right. The discount code TIRE at Sennheiser.com/podcast will get you 15% off site-wide at Sennheiser, or any of their headphones anyway. That's awesome. SENNHEISER. I realize it's a complicated German name, but SENNHEISER.com/podcast, promo code TIRE, the earbuds or any Sennheiser headphones, 15% off. That's a sweet deal. These things aren't cheap. 15% off is a lot of money, but you're getting a very high quality product that is built to last. And we are also brought to you by Keeper Security, which is the leading cybersecurity platform for protecting individuals, families, and businesses against password-related cyber attacks, aka hacks. The fact is, we have too many passwords. If you're using a weak password over multiple accounts or cycling 1 to 3 weak passwords, you are setting yourself up for a real problem. And if you're wasting time in that password reset loop, that the loop is where you create the password and then you don't log in for a while, so you forget it, and then you just have to reset it again, and you can't reuse your old ones because security, and you have to keep making up new creative ones, and then it just goes on and on until the end of time. Like, you are doing it wrong, right? If you're worried about your finances, the cost of a yearly Keeper subscription is nothing compared to the cost of a data breach, whether that's your time, your money, maybe you're not insured up properly, and when you get hacked, you have to be worried about stopping payments, getting refunds, changing your auto pay bills, maybe even your credit. And when you get a new device, it takes forever to log into all those apps and accounts again. But with Keeper, you can create strong, unique passwords for every account where you log in, like you know you should, but then keep them stored safely in your own encrypted vault, and all you have to do is remember one master password, which also works with Face or Fingerprint ID, and then access all your strong passwords without having to actually remember them all. We get fed so much information every day. How could you possibly be expected to remember letter C24Z exclamation point pound sign? You can't remember these strong passwords, right? But Keeper can, and you can remember your own face or your own fingerprint. You're golden. With perks of an unlimited subscription, you can sync to multiple devices. Anywhere you can log into Keeper, you can get them. And there's secure file storage available to store things besides passwords, including passports, insurance documents, or hotel information when you're traveling abroad. And Breach Watch scans the dark web in real time to see if any of your passwords are already circling the dark web and have been breached, and alerts you to change them. That's cool. You're not watching the dark web, are you? I don't even know how to get to the dark web. Oh man, this is awesome. We can't cancel passwords, but with Keeper, we can make them manageable. So listeners of the Smoking Tire podcast are going to get 30% off Keeper Unlimited and Family plans. So use code SMOKINGTIRE30 at checkout, or visit keeper.io/smokingtire. That's keeper.io/smokingtire to learn more. And last but not least, we are brought to you by Tradecraft Farms, the most delicious, scrumptious, delightfully fragrant cannabis products available legally in the state of California. If you are local or you are coming to Los Angeles, please check out a Tradecraft Farms retail location, like their gorgeous Port Hueneme grow/retail. It's a good place to drive a sports car, honestly. It's a nice drive up PCH there. It's a good destination to plug into your GPS, something cool when you get there, you know what I mean? If you're not in the civilized world where you can purchase such products legally, go to Tradecraft Farms on Instagram at Tradecraft Farms. Just give them a follow. Why? Good macro photography, honestly. That's a good reason. Also to keep up with all the delicious things they're doing, all the new science. Joints wrapped in rose petals. You ever seen that before? It's crazy. Tradecraft Farms is a proud annual sponsor of the Smoking Tire podcast. All right, folks, on this episode, Zach and I are in the studio talking about all the things we've driven recently: the Harley Fat Bob, the Mustang Mach 1, the Volvo Cross Country V90 XC, and taking your questions, which, boy, have really built up over the last couple of weeks. And it is a good show. We cover a lot of ground. Me and Zach in studio. It's the Smoking Tire podcast. By the end of this, I will have had a lot of coffee today.
Yeah.
I had an 18 ounce, probably, standard Yeti this morning. Then I had a little cup, just one, and now this. It's a lot of coffee.
And it's 11:22.
So it's probably like 30 ounces of coffee in 5-something hours.
Which is a couple hundred milligrams probably of caffeine.
It's a lot. It's probably like what a trucker does in 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. I feel like your adrenal glands are going to start.
It's a lot.
You have calloused caffeine tolerance.
It's a lot. The other day, you know what? You know, because like, you know how I like go to sleep now at like 8:30 p.m. and 9 o'clock p.m.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an idiot, obviously, because it took me a really long time to put together why that was exactly, and it's because when I got into a relationship with Hannah, where I started living with her, I no longer had afternoon coffee as an activity.
What do you mean?
Like, when I was a single guy, I used to like come home from work and then work out and then go to the coffee shop and have coffee just as a fucking thing to do. And I stopped doing that.
And then all of a sudden your body's like,
and all of a sudden
now.
I didn't like, I wasn't never so wired. I just like, so all of a sudden I went from going to bed at 11 o'clock till like 8:30. And so I had to get the car the other night from Donnie's, and I had timed an espresso shot for like 5 p.m. and it kept me going until like 11:30. And I was like, oh yeah. That was what it was.
That's amazing. Even with how much you drink, even if you have it late in the day, it still keeps you up.
Like alcohol, you mean? How much I drink alcohol?
No, coffee.
How much coffee? Yeah.
Like I feel like your tolerance is high, but if you have it late, you still stay awake.
Right. If I have one espresso shot after 3 or 4 p.m., I'm staying up like late. I used
late,
to
like 11.
back in the day. Well, that's late for me.
I know.
Back in the day, like when I was 25, when I first met Nick Steinman,
mm-hmm.
I was coming home from work, like I just said, coming home from work, going to the gym, and then going to the Greenwich Avenue Starbucks, because we used to drink Starbucks. And I would have a quad shot. Then, that was at like 7 p.m. I'd have a fucking quad espresso. And then we'd go karting at GPNY, and then we'd eat dinner at like 9:30, and then go to the bar till like midnight.
Yeah.
Fucking 20s.
Oh, totally, dude.
A quad shot at 7 p.m., that would kill me now.
I would drink coffee like while waiting tables, I'd drink coffee. We'd get off at 10 p.m., and then we'd have like 2 Red Bull vodkas, go out, and then have another one at 1 a.m., and then be like, I don't know why I'm playing video games till 5 a.m.
Yeah. And I learned, I learned because I was used to drink mad vodka and Diet Cokes. That was my shit.
You did.
Vodka and Diet Cokes. Drink pints of it. Literal pints of multiple pints of vodka and Diet Coke.
Do you have it on draft?
I would get like, at a certain point I started getting really hungover, and I learned that it was actually from the caffeine and not really from the vodka. Vodka itself doesn't give me much of a hangover compared to other darker colored liquids. But if you drink fucking 32 ounces of Diet Coke between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., that's gonna fucking do it right
You're
there.
so dehydrated.
You're fucked.
Yeah. That's why you need coconut
That's
water.
how you
that.
look like me at 39, folks. In case you're wondering, Zach and I are the same age, and he didn't do that to himself, and that's how you end up looking like me.
I vodka soda'd it, and then I would drink coconut water when we get home.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's called
eat kale.
the result of a strategy.
Shit's chess. It ain't checkers.
Well, because I know how to lose weight. Like I can do I can make the sacrifices to lose weight. I've lost 100 pounds once, 50 pounds twice, and 20 pounds probably 3 or 4 different times. Like I know how to lose weight, but I never want to cut out fun entirely. So I always, that was in the great shift away from beer and sugary drinks to vodka and Diet Coke. That's how I end up there.
I choose my fun. My fun are missiles. Your fun is a machine gun.
That's interesting.
Volume-wise, I'm like, I'm not going to drink that tonight because it's not worth it.
Oh, and then you have a cheat day?
No point.
Right,
yeah, but then if I wanted, I
like to live my life every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta have a little life in every day,
That should be on your coffee mug.
That's fucking
a very
pretty good one. Right along with One Crime at a Time.
That one's very important.
I could teach a college level course on one crime at a time and how to stay out of fucking prison and how people who don't obey that rule get caught because they're dumb as fuck. There was a fucking GTA last night right around the corner from my house. Straight up. Mean? A Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, like an actual, okay.
Guess what kind of car was stolen?
Honda Civic. Wait.
Charger.
Oh.
Because, and stolen, fucking, and a chase ensued.
Or stolen?
Carjacking at gunpoint. Yeah.
Yikes.
And went on a chase ensued, pursuit ensued for about 20 minutes. Didn't leave the overall neighborhood, and suspect was apprehended at the Arco station on Washington.
It's like a Benny Hill car chase. You're like, there's other places you could drive to, and they're just going around.
Like we were doing that parade, it was like you could line up the streets for, remember fucking OJ? That set the precedent.
But he at least crossed the whole town, right?
Yeah.
On the highway.
Well, the freeway chase was that was
the thing.
Celebrity freeway chase. I mean, fuck me. If I was a newsman, I'd be like,
what a weird. Yeah, we got a helicopter and a celebrity.
Holy shit.
Sweeps week.
Fucking go. Hi, everybody. What's going on? What is going on? Is that what? Oh, I don't know what people. I stopped looking. I should stop looking at the comments while we're doing the show. We were filming this morning up on the hill, and then we decided that both of us had kind of a free midday, so we should do a show and catch up on the things that we've missed because we've had guests and such come through, and so also we'll do questions. So get up in the super chat if you would like to talk about something, please, something of substance. I am not in the mood to answer the $20,000 sports car question today. Or anything that
which 991
right
911
let's
cab
not
should I get?
Can we, let's have a goal of not talking about the very subtle nuances between, like, I don't want to read reference numbers for 911s all day. Also, shout out to Braemont who re-upped their sponsorship for another 6 months. So yeah, rocking them today. I got a new strap for my Hercules. This is the shit. The Hercules is my jam because it's inspired by Howard Hughes aircraft and includes a piece on the back of the H4 Hercules from the wood, and the folder it comes in has a piece of the canvas from it in it, which is pretty cool. And I just got an Erica's Originals strap, which I really like. These are from, I believe, Holland, made by this woman named Erica, and they're really cool because they're like NATO straps, but they're elastic, and so you can take them off, and they have no extra anything.
They're elastic? I didn't know that. That's awesome. They're
elastic, so you can make them kind of tight, and you don't have the extra slack, and you just clip it on like this. They're called the MN strap. Yeah, Erica's Originals. They're very cool, the MN strap, and they make the watch like the Bosphorus straps, like the canvas ones, like I have on Zack's, and I had on this before. They're awesome. That's the canvas joint, and that thing will last 1,000 years. It'll be the cockroaches in that canvas strap. But I have big wrists to begin with, and that strap is on the bulkier side.
Definitely.
It's like it turns the watch into like a cuff almost, which is cool sometimes, but I want to change it up. It's tighter to the wrist, it's thinner, so if you want to go under sleeves with the watch, this is a little bit easier.
Yeah, this thing still holds its shape like...
That shit rules.
And it's like double layered canvas, but it's very tough.
No right answer, folks. You can go any way you want. And so shout out to Braemont for having the faith in this little program here. We were supposed to do a little
watch however you want.
We were supposed to do a photo shoot with the watches this morning, and we forgot.
We did.
We were working on cars. We were working on filming cars up there.
Yeah, but we shot 2 videos. So
we did, and it was a nice day on the hill.
Yeah, it was quiet, which was good. Good weather.
We chose a good road. There was no people.
That's a fun road.
Yeah, I was wondering it was going to be foggy because we drove through fog the whole way up there, but it was all right. How much Mach 1 did we get through on the last show? A lot, right? With Dave? Did we do a lot of Mach 1?
Medium.
Medium Mach 1? All right.
We talked a lot about what he was doing.
What he was doing.
As you do.
My brain has not right function because for that kind of stuff. Because I talked to the same car. You're driving it around for a week. You talk to 18 people. I don't remember if I said it in that conversation or not. But we both drove it this morning, and that is a very nice car.
Yeah,
it's a very nice car. It's just, it can be a little tiring to drive.
It is. It's big, and I think it has the visibility out the front is way better than a Camaro. Like you do know where the ends of it are, but you're in the canyon, which was tight. I was like, this is very big. Like I know where the tires are, but I don't have much room on either side for the lane. I really don't. And in the front splitter, which is plastic, so you're not worried about losing $1,000, but like it's still pretty low and extended.
Yeah.
So going
this
into
one
the
had the
driveway is a pain
handling
in the ass.
package.
Yeah.
So the handling package has the splitter extender, which does make it substantially more annoying to drive in the city.
Yes.
The splitter extender is too low for curb stoppers. Like if you're pulling into a parking space at the mall, like you will hit that car. That you're not going to clear that concrete thing. You're not going to clear the sidewalk, the basic, curb, and the sidewalk curb.
It's okay on speed bumps. I found on the big speed bumps, you don't have to worry about that.
It's not the end of the world, but like that option. So the handling package gives you the front splitter, the extension on the rear wing, not the whole rear wing, just a little gurney flap, and then bigger wheels and Cup 2 tires. So that's what you get for it. I might advise not getting it.
Yeah, I don't. It looks cool. I mean, if you're tracking it a lot,
like
you really need to track it a lot.
The really wide front tires, because the handling kit gives you the same size wheels as the GT350R. They're just made of aluminum, not carbon.
Right, so more durable.
Which is good, right? And for most people, I think you probably don't want those carbon wheels, even though it makes the car really nice to drive. Like, if you're willing to be super, super careful with your car, definitely get them. If you're not willing to be that careful, definitely don't get them. It's really a big deal. Can we talk about what happened at the track with that wheel?
With the carbon wheels?
Yeah.
Which time?
The time that it exploded? Were you there for that?
Which shoot?
Oh, did you have multiple explosions?
I just don't want I have been on shoots where carbon wheels had a big problem meeting track curbs.
Right. That's all that really needs to be said.
Yeah.
Because in the instance I heard about, the carbon wheel didn't just take itself out. A shard of it took out another wheel, another tire.
Oh, well, I mean, that's the thing with them, right? They don't just bend. They can shatter a bit or at least shed up, some of their weight. Yeah. And those things can be kind of sharp and poking if they go under a tire the wrong way. Like that's what's going to happen. Yeah. But I think we've also heard stories of people that are if you're just driving around with carbon wheels, like if in LA we have so many expansion joints and potholes and just bullshit, over time, like you're going to get these little tiny cracks in the wheels and that could add up. So I think
carbon wheels aren't cheap.
They're not cheap. They're great, but you need to really assess what your area is like and where you're taking them. Same with the front splitter. Like, what are you really doing with the car? Do you need the handling pack to be cool or to add all the options so you can sell it at Mecum in 2052?
Right.
Like,
front splitter, good news, is just made of plastic. Like, it's not, you scrape it up, you crack it, like whatever. It's just annoying that it's there if you don't need the downforce.
Right.
Having an aluminum wheel versus a carbon wheel is a practical thing.
Yes.
But when you've got front engine Mustang, as we've learned, and I've said it over and over with these fast Mustangs, to make them really handle, you have to go square stance. But the downside is it makes them tramline. It makes them darty. It makes them two hands on the wheel. Like this is a car with electric power steering, and my tendonitis in my elbow is flaring up because you just can't drive it in a relaxed way unless the tarmac is absolutely perfect.
I didn't find it to be as big of a problem, but I think what I noticed is there's a lot of damping in the steering system. So on the road today, and with the steering in normal, it wasn't bouncing all over the place, but I think it's because those electric motors can take a lot of that out, the same way they do in off-road situations.
Yeah, well, I don't find that the problem happens in the canyons. The problem happens going up and down the 405 freeway. The problem happens on a lot of LA's worse cared for roads where trucks have worn troughs in it. And I mean, there's instances where I thought, poltergeist is fucking steering me into some other lane. And it's like, I must be riding the edges of the wheels, on these troughs. And so if you live somewhere where the roads are great, this might not be a problem. And the handling pack, sure, get it. If you're a realist, and I have a client here at Westside Collector Car Storage that is a realist, he got a car just like the same color we've got, but no handling pack. And I advised him that was the right move because he's literally just going to drive it around LA. Like, that's what he's going to do. And he's probably not going to go to track days with it. He might go up in the canyons, but like PS4S tires, wheels that are, I think they're half an inch or an inch narrower, you know, and he even got, I think, the comfort seats because he wanted a lumbar support. So he saved a bunch of money.
So he kind of got the best Mustang GT you can get.
Pretty much.
You're
He
getting
got
a
a
Mustang
super sweet
PP2 with a good transmission.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the range.
Right.
It ranges from PP2 with the better gearbox to budget GT350R.
Yeah.
Pretty much, which is a pretty good spread. Pretty good spread.
For one car to go that far
spread.
is pretty impressive, you know.
And that's about a $10,000 spread.
Yeah, and then if you put a supercharger on it, you jump to the GT5. Like, it's amazing what they've done with one model, one chassis. I know they've done this for a long time, but like right now, it's a pretty good time to be into Mustangs.
Right.
There's a lot of good
It
flavors.
is a good car. It does still drive me nuts that a company like Recaro would allow Ford to put their seats in a $65,000 car and there not to be a lumbar.
Yeah.
Like, there's no lumbar in that
Not
seat.
even not even a mechanical one.
Yeah.
The little cheap ones, you just press the lever or even airbag or something like that. It's really surprising.
But that bums me out about that car, and it does make it kind of it should be that I should be going, yeah, get these Recaro seats, but I actually don't like them that much, and we already know how I feel about base Ford seats. Base Ford seats suck. So if the Recaros aren't that good, you're kind of like, oh, damn it.
These seem better shaped. Remember we drove the RTR a few years ago, and with the helmet on, you were looking basically down at your balls because of that canted forward headrest. Like, these are a little better shaped for that, and the side bolstering's good, but it's just missing that
We
component.
we both are sensitive to the lack of lumbar, and there's definitely a lack of lumbar.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's hard. Otherwise it would be such a nice GT car, you know, with the mag shocks and like normal. It has a very nice ride for a front engine car,
and it's quiet.
And if you get the regular wheels, you get rid of the dartiness. Like, it would be a great car to drive across the country. Like, no doubt, it'd be super nice. The Bang & Olufsen stereo. Christian is the stereo snob of all stereo snobs.
Of course,
he shat on the Burmeister that Porsche was charging $7,500 for in what did I bring home?
Heritage.
Yeah.
Targa.
Whatever that or something before that, even maybe whatever it was, whatever Porsche he was out with me, and like he was like, this is fucking horrible. Like he's pretty, you know. He doesn't really care what they charge and what the name on it is and what kind of car it is. If it doesn't sound very good, he'll tell you. And he said the Bang & Olufsen in the Mustang, which on the sticker is listed as a no charge option, which is weird. I don't. Maybe the Bang & Olufsen just comes with Mach 1. And they put it as no charge option instead of putting it as standard equipment or whatever the fuck. But we were like bumping music going up to the desert, and he was like very, very impressed with the quality of that stereo.
That's pretty good.
And I was too. Actually,
Yeah.
It sounded really nice.
It was clear. It wasn't just like all bass, like a.
No, it was good.
Okay.
It was really good, and it blended well with the sound of the car. Like if you put like hammered down music, it sounded really nice. It was good.
The car sounds good. And then today when we left your place at like 6:30 in the morning, and I set the exhaust to quiet mode, and I was really impressed with how quiet it got. It really
sounds like a regular GT pretty much when you
almost quieter than that.
Yeah.
If you keep the revs down, it was like.
Yeah,
you know.
It does have rev matching, which I turned off. I
Yes,
don't know
you
if
did.
you turned it back on.
No,
but
I didn't. That's why I missed a couple of revs. I had imperfect downshifts.
yeah, I mean, I used it for a day because I just was. You actually have to dig pretty deep into the menus to turn it off. It was. You know what drives me nuts about this car? So the Sport Plus track drive modes, the shock is linked to the drive mode. You can't independently. You can't be in Sport Plus throttle mode and Comfort shock mode.
Yeah.
Why? I have no idea.
I know.
But you can't, and that's dumb, honestly. And even in the there's like the My mode, like which is like the equivalent of like individual mode where you set your own parameters. It is, and this press car did not have an owner's manual in it. Okay, so don't jump down my throat. Just read the manual. Like I didn't get an owner's manual. I'm sorry, but like that setting the My mode should not be something that requires an owner's manual. I've never had to look at an owner's manual to set the parameters of the individual mode. Usually you just like click the individual mode and then it's like click OK to change parameters. It's usually something that easy. I've never struggled to set an individual mode more than I did in this Mustang.
Yeah.
Like pretty much you have to just like almost do it like your memory seat, like set all the other modes individually and then go to the menu and hit save where I'm at as my mode. But even in my mode, you can't separate the shocks from the thing. Like,
which is something we do all the time because so many of the canyon roads are imperfect, or if a track is bumpy, you want to be able to set, all right, I want aggressive throttle but not too twitchy and all this stuff, but you want suspension to be compliant.
Most cars, and even Randy will tell you this, are not fastest on track in their stiffest suspension modes. Most like street cars aren't. Because the stiffest mode is typically designed to give the perception of some type of race car feel more so than actual effective, track performance.
And a lot of the tracks around here have some area, like Streets of Willow has bumps in it.
Yeah.
Big Willow has bumps in it that you don't want to be changing that setting while you're doing a lap.
Right.
So you just set it to comfort. At High Plains Raceway, I was there last week. The back straight is nice, and then right at the end, as you're approaching braking zone, on the left side, there's like these little rolls in it, and if you're going really fast, you notice them. And when you do it in track mode versus normal, big difference.
Yeah, High Plains is fun, isn't it?
It's real fun.
That's a nice racetrack.
It's a gorgeous place. Yeah.
That was where I saw Lee put on a ridiculous clinic.
Oh, I'm sure.
And he set some kind of a record that day for streetcar-based cars, and he did it while like changing the fucking radio. Like it was so.
Was this in one lap?
One lap back in the day.
Yeah, when he drove the GTR.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, there's in-car of him changing, like, he's like, I don't like this song. And he's like on the straightaway at 110, 120, 130. He's just like, change this thing. Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah,
cool. He's real good.
But anyway, like overall, obviously, this thing has a lot of value in it. The Mach 1, it has a great street presence.
Looks good.
So many bros were like fucking falling over themselves to talk to me about it.
The car is great shape, and I'm usually I thought chalk was a little played out. They're kind of chalk gray, but with the accents on this.
Fighter jet gray.
I know, but
we measure our speed in ground speed here. We're an airplane.
And it's slower
than
an
airplane. We are born for. Oh no, that's Saab. Saab is born from
jets. But this is Mach 1, named after Chuck Yeager, or was it Buzz?
I mean, it's
one of the.
Chuck Yeager was the one to build.
Yeah,
break the sound barrier.
But the car looks really good in gray, and the accents, the orange and black, look rad. They offset it a little bit. It's good looking.
The orange has almost a reflective quality like fire truck lettering. It almost.
You do see it at night more?
When you shine a headlight on it at night, it like kind of glows a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It's neat.
That's cool.
It's very cool. I like the car a lot.
Me too.
It's a very nice car, and the gearbox is like. So I spill fucking water on myself. Are the paper towels over there?
Nope.
Oh boy. Well, I'm not just gonna let that stand. Live people are just gonna have to wait.
They'll have to wait.
Make a note.
I mean, I've been a big fan of the Mustang. I don't know, for years. Like, it's such a great overall car for the money. Especially if you just get a regular GT, and if you don't care about how the transmission feels to shift, which it does feel bad. The MT82 feels bad, but it's a good GT car. It's got a lot of space. It's comfortable. Miles per gallon isn't great. Sounds good, and you can mod the hell out of them. Like, they're very versatile machines for the money. The Mach 1's a little expensive. Was it 65 grand?
As tested, it starts at like 55. If you don't get the handling, you don't get the Recaros.
So 55. I mean,
but like the thing is, it's just talking about modding. Anytime someone takes a GT based car in the past and puts that Roush blower on it that everybody does, the 720 whatever horsepower,
yeah,
it feels like all 300 of that extra horsepower exits the car at the gearbox instead of making it to the wheels. That MT82 gearbox is so bad that it feels like it swallows every bit of the horsepower that the blower adds. It just doesn't feel like it makes it to the ground. This maybe has a chance to give GT-based tuner cars a chance to actually be good.
Well, some of that I think is also the sensation of speed. Like what we should do, is measure the acceleration of with a Roush car versus a regular GT, because some of it, the suspension in those cars usually felt soft, like they'd sit back too much, which feels like it's slower than if it's like really locked down.
Definitely the Roush cars for sure, but also like the home built stuff too. I've driven enough of the home built supercharged stuff. That black car from fucking Tuned or Sorted, sorry. Those cars all feel the same. Like they make so much noise.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't tell if this thing's actually going faster or if it's just louder, but there's definitely more wheel spin. And the gears, it doesn't really feel quite right. It feels like I can feel drivetrain loss.
Well, and the blowers, I know the blower on the Hellcat takes 90 horsepower to turn, or the Hellcat Redeye specifically. So if people throw on a Roush one, well, now I don't know how much power those take to spin, but it takes a certain amount of effort. So it's like between all the systems, they do feel slower than you would think compared to something that's turbocharged or like a Z06.
Right. So I don't know. Maybe with this transmission, there might be, if not an actual improvement in drivetrain loss, the perception of improvement in drivetrain loss would be something. It wouldn't be it's not ideal, but it would be something. So anyway,
interesting.
So anyway, also,
so what's a BMW M2's MSRP? Non-comp and non.
Oh, it's like
CS.
in the 60s.
So this is pretty much that competition, right?
Yeah, I think the difference is: do you want a big car? Or you want a small car? Do you want it to sound really angry all the time, or do you want it to really be pretty mellow most of the time?
True.
M2 is a pretty mellow car unless you're mobbing it. It feels nice, it's quality, but it's not in your face, it's not shouty unless you're mobbing, right? This thing, even when you're pulling out of a parking spot, it's as the second I got in it and started driving it around, I like became a tough guy all of a sudden.
What are you, tough guy?
I started like fucking giving people the eye and shit. Like
the confidence I had in high school driving a muscle car, I was like, I can fight anybody.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why. I just started felt like halfway to a shit bag just by being in it.
That's why so many people like to drive loud things or put burble tunes on, because they're like, this is me banging my sword against the shield, and it's like, calm down. That's a 428.
Oh my god! Let me just tell you how your burble tune sounds now.
So bad.
Burble Tune in 2014 was the shit. Burble Tune in 2021 sounds ridiculous. And ridiculous not good. Ridiculous bad. Sounds dumb. I was in Pilates class the other day, which faces the street. It was me, 11 hot women, right? Plus an instructor, also hot. Doing the thing, whatever. M2 goes by with the mega burble tune. Fucking this Pilates instructor was like, this guy started talking about what a loser this guy is. Everyone's just laughing and nodding along. I am dying. I'm dying. This is what the hot women think of your burble tune. They are literally making fun of you.
Does that guy go by often?
Yes,
she knew who he
this
was.
person lives in the neighborhood.
That's so funny.
She's, oh my god, this fucking loser on a mic, on a PA system while we're like doing this shit. She's like,
she needs a speaker outside for him to go by. They sound bad, or they sound like gunshots, which is worse.
This was gunshots.
They legitimately
This sounded like
gunshots.
there was a drive-by happening outside.
It's not good.
It's so horrible.
I don't know, and I don't know. People
but and Hannah's trained to be me. Now when Hannah hears it, she says, "Oh boy," just like I do.
Sarah and I have had a running joke for years where anytime a loud car or motorcycle drives by, she started. It happened one day. Someone goes by and she goes, "I have to go have sex with that guy." And so anytime a loud person goes by showing off, I'm just like, Sarah, she's like, God, I know. Because that's what the loud car thinks they're doing, right?
That's very funny.
And I was guilty. In high school, I was like, girls are going to hear this car,
yeah,
and then they're going to come up and talk to me.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Yeah.
They made fun of it.
Yeah. You know who you don't see in the car with the burble tune? Anybody but the driver.
Yeah, it's very true. He's looking around saying, someone want to be my friend.
He's around by himself. Like, what is going on? It sounds like a fucking DP car coming down the fucking
They
pit.
don't sound that bad. Race cars, that's the thing, is
worse.
race cars don't sound like that. These cars are sounding...
No, the race cars sound like that when they're using a pit limiter that's like cutting 6 of 8 cylinders. It's
yeah,
like
and it's
cutting
so
like
quieter
all
than
the
that.
spark. Yeah.
Or it was like F1 traction control back in the day when it was just pull timing.
Yeah. It's actually the make engine miss mode.
Yeah, that's what the Ariel Atom, the new Ariel Atom has traction control that pulls timing.
Oh.
And when I was going around a corner, I heard that sound. And I was like, oh fuck, that means I'm going fast.
We can't talk about that because that's coming up
It's coming out on Rated
Rated.
season
Yeah.
2 on Haggerty, coming out in like 3 weeks.
Fun times. Can we talk about something much more exciting? The Volvo V90 cross country.
Oh wow, wait, let me get a new pair of pants.
Look,
I'm gonna put a condom on for this conversation.
it's tough. It's tough because it's not an exciting car. It's just not. All it is comfortable and quiet, and it has amazing seats. Like, that's it. Like, if your priority is not speed or dynamics at all, if you just want a car that has like a ton of space, a great ride, and really, really well sculpted seats, fucking boom, I got the car for you. This shit is long. It's like a battleship. It's like as long as like a Suburban almost. And the one they gave me had the cargo box on the roof, which I didn't know exactly how tall it was. It was pretty tall. And like I like pooped myself a couple of times going into like Santa Monica parking garages
really?
and stuff. It made it, like obviously, but like I don't know.
Yeah, the
how
first
tall
time
it
you're
was.
like, oh, good.
Yeah. But like
Really good looking car.
I got it to just shuttle my parents around basically while we were here, and so me and my dad took it to the golf course, and I had 4 adults driving all over the place to dinner. My dad, if you saw the picture of us on Instagram, he's 6'5". And my mom is 5'8", and my wife is 5'2". So, to me and my dad up front, and then 2, adults behind us, like comfortably. It has this really neat, you can see in that picture, this cargo gate thing that flips up and down. It's like on hydraulic struts. Like, it's almost like a dog divider for the trunk.
Oh, like
it's-
inside the trunk.
Yeah, you can see it a bit in these photos. Like, as we're looking at the website right now, you can see it's right there. See the cage thing in the back?
Yeah.
So it's a divider, and it's just permanently built in, and you can easily flip it up, and it sticks to the ceiling out of the way, and you
that's
can
very
pass
cool.
through, and then you just gunk, and it locks down. So like shit in the trunk can never come forward and become a projectile that kills you.
That's
in a
very
crash.
smart. That's
Also,
very
it
smart.
would be a good dog divider if you
Totally.
wanted that. Like, I'm sure that it's a double thing. Like, really, like, just smart design, I think.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's a front-wheel drive based architecture, but they lengthen it so much. They do this long dash to axle ratio that gives it the impression that it's a rear-wheel drive car, even though it's front-wheel drive.
It's a really good looking car.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks long, it is long, but it is a really gorgeous wagon.
Yeah, they're really well designed, good stereo. Now, here's the thing. It drives weird. Like, this twin-charged engine, it was the T6. So
Yeah.
it's the twin-charged engine, electric steering, and it's just not dynamically, like, good. Like, if you're driving down highways, it's fine. It's totally fine for highway driving. But, like, I would, like, it was not, it doesn't, like, feel very good to, like, apply throttle mid-corner or to, like, do principles of sport driving. Like, it just doesn't, like, do that well.
I didn't even like that engine for driving around town because the transition from like supercharged to turbo and all the stuff, you can feel it. It's weird. It seemed like clunky and imprecise, and that was even a few years ago.
And it's strange that, like, it is pretty efficient. Like, it actually does achieve some good efficiency. But I agree. It does. When you have little engines that are strung really high to move big cars, it's not very refined compared to, hypothetically, like, after this, I drove and went right from this Volvo to the Land Cruiser. So I know it's a different class of vehicle, but I went from this twin-charged 4-cylinder thing that's not like it doesn't have a 9,000 RPM red line, but it revs because it's a 4-cylinder, right? Even with a turbo and a supercharger, it still has to rev, like, you know what I mean? Whereas the Land Cruiser, like, doesn't. The Land Cruiser, you drive around all day and it never goes over like 1,800 RPM. It's totally smooth, and the lack of revs translate to lack of vibrations, You know what I mean? You can't have a super high revving 4-cylinder engine, and even the most isolated cabin, that's not going to be as refined as a larger engine that doesn't rev as high.
Right.
Right.
Plus, with all these different systems interacting, like BMW just goes, all right, if you're going to get a 4-cylinder, we'll put a turbo on it, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that works fine. You know, and so many other companies are doing that, and it's not as quiet as a 6, but it's fine. But when you have supercharger plus turbocharger, really high strung, and you just feeling that transition, that feels worse to me than just having a high strung 2-liter.
And you could say, okay, well, then supplement with a mild hybrid. Well, we drove one of the Volvos that had the mild hybrid, and the transition from all the different powertrains wasn't as smooth as it needed to be for a car with 3 different power adding systems.
If their system was as smooth as like the F-150 hybrid, where it's like, look, here's a normal engine and plus a hybrid system.
Turbos.
What?
That F-150.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's not compound charge. It's
Right,
not,
right,
so
yeah,
I'm saying
okay,
like
more normal.
choose one lane and then add hybrid assist that's really smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised with Volvo with how good they are at refining other things, that their powertrain stuff just seems like it's trying to do too much, and it just doesn't do it very seamlessly.
I think I let my mom drive the Volvo, and she thought it was fine. You know, she enjoyed it. She wasn't thinking about the nuance of dynamics and stuff. It was for driving around at 25% throttle, you know, around town.
Did she feel traction control was too invasive when you get oversteer?
Yeah. She didn't really like how it worked on her trail braking.
She's like, needs more caster.
I love the seats. I mean, the seats are so fucking good.
Well, so she's more the target market for that car. So if she thinks it's fine and doesn't notice these powertrain, quibbles that we have, then does our opinion even matter?
No, I know. And Hannah liked it too. I mean, Hannah was a fan of it as well. So I liked it as a run around and a road trip car. I just don't like it from the perspective of I'm an enthusiast driver and I want a wagon.
Right.
If I'm an enthusiast driver who wants a wagon, you probably want one of the Mercedes.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's not the AMG, I mean, even if it's a regular 350 or whatever the regular one is, front engine, rear drive, traditional layout, that's going to be dynamically better than the Volvo. But, Volvo can make a fucking seat, man. They really, so can Mercedes too. Mercedes, even their basic non-AMG, regular seats are of a very, very high standard. But Volvo's seats are, for the price, is very exceptional.
Very different interior design approaches, but they're both gorgeous too.
Yeah, I think Volvo's, the Scandinavian thing with fairly minimalist. I think it works for them.
I think their media screen is starting to look a little tired compared to Mercedes, who just refreshed all their stuff.
Right.
It works really well. That their whole laser grid for the touch is real fast. But I remember some of the plastic buttons and controls you have. They look good in photos, and when you touch them, you're like, oh no, that is the thinnest plastic wheel to control the volume or something like that.
Right. And also the V90 that was my foot.
Sorry.
We were a little footsie there. The V90's long. It's really long. It was long enough that in my home garage, which is a tandem nose to tail joint, the length became kind of an issue. It fit, but I would have to move, whether it was the Mach E or the Delica or whatever, as far up as I could possibly get it in order to get the Volvo in. So length is it's long.
195 inches.
Yeah. So what else is 195? Let's just, how long is a Tahoe? A Tahoe's 210? Oh wow, it's 15 inches shorter than a Tahoe? Mm-hmm. It feels so fucking long. What's 195 inches? Like a Grand Cherokee? Sorry, folks. I need to know this. Well, all right. So it's longer than a Grand Cherokee by 4 inches.
It's a big car.
That's for a wagon, that's big. It might be the length of a Durango or something like that.
It's as long as a CLS.
A CLS basically. Mercedes?
Yeah. Which is also a big car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big car.
But
it's meant for people that have a round driveway.
Yeah. The V60 has about the same amount of room in the front, and a lot of the the length difference is from the back seat. Like the back seat is long as fuck in the V90. The big seat, it's a big back seat. Like in parts of Europe, like if you wanted to like low key it with a chauffeur, you'd go V90.
Yeah.
Super
it's 7
low.
inches longer than the V60, so
Yeah.
it's probably a lot of that's back seat.
Back seat and a bit of trunk, because
Yeah.
the trunk's deep in the V90 also. But
They're nice.
it was a very nice car. It's just not a delight dynamically. It's a delight
Cruising.
many miles on a road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you for. I didn't make a video with it. I'm sorry that I didn't. Literally, it was dropped off. An hour later, I went to pick up my parents. I dropped my parents back off at the airport, and they picked the car up like an hour after that. So I just didn't have the time. But I did enjoy it as a appliance with very comfortable seats. Do we have lots of questions? Is it the time?
We
got a
don't
lot.
We don't have to jump to it yet. I'm just pulling them up. But we
Boy,
got
is there anything? I mean, my Harley-Davidson Fat Bob video just went up. Like I
Yes.
hit publish right before we did this show. So, I mean, we can talk about it, but like if you,
we can talk about it because this won't air until a week from now.
It was my first old school Harley, air cooled. 675 pounds, heavy. Like Don Cheadle does so well in like Ocean's 13. Heavy bike, sir. This is a heavy bike. It's like that. It's a heavy fucking bike. It's and it's so funny because the Pan America that I rode before was so nice. Engine size presented in cubic centimeters. Fat Bob, cubic inches. The Pan America has a 1250. This has a 114. That shows you the positioning of these two bikes.
It does.
Yeah, like the Pan America, Harley went to the metric system.
That's funny.
And for this, they literally don't publish the horsepower. I know this makes 83 horsepower, not because there's a published horsepower report, because Cycle World put it on a dyno.
Why don't they publish the numbers?
Horsepower, sufficient. It's
All right.
only they publish the power by cubic inches, and Harley people just have a fucking formula in their head, and they go 114 cubic inches. That means it's gonna be fucking loud,
Right.
And it's gonna throw you right back in the seat.
And this is a bigger engine than the one before, right? Its predecessor.
Yeah, I think
Fat Bob.
the last year, the year before, it was like a 108. So this is an updated version of the engine. Push rods, overhead valve,
Amazing.
engine, air cooled. It does have 4 valves per cylinder.
Wow.
So there's that. It does have keyless start, so you keep a fob in your pocket and hit a button. And it does have ABS, and those are your technologies.
Yeah, it has one gauge.
It
I
has
saw during
one
the edit.
gauge. It redlines at 5,500 RPM, which is where the Pan America came on cam. And it was weird. I mean, it's taking some real getting used to ride a bike like this. Your feet are in front of you instead of underneath you. Your hands are up here instead of down here.
Did you find it more comfortable or less comfortable?
Not as comfortable as the most comfortable. Like, I found it more comfortable than a sport bike and less comfortable than an upright
Adventure bike.
Okay. Yeah. And it wasn't bad, actually. I mean, it comfort-wise, like it's basically like a pro touring car. Like, it's like literally like it says in the title of the video, if Ford or Chevy or like not Gunther Works or Singer, right? Ford or Chevy kept building 69 Mustangs and Camaros. That like not reimagined, not even really improved much. Just kept building 69 Mustang Camaros for 50 more years and not changing them much because the customers didn't want them to.
Right.
And so I don't want to say that it feels old because I haven't ridden a lot of really old motorcycles, so I can't make that comparison. But it feels metallic. It's metal. Everything's fucking metal. Nothing has been changed to another material in order to make the bike lighter. It's just fucking metal. Okay? Everything is heavy. The controls are really heavy. I have really big hands. Like, my hands by most people's standards are pretty big. My wrist is an 8-inch wrist, okay? And I was like kind of reaching for the clutch, and the blinkers are one on each fucking side. That is dumb as rocks. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. I had to reach for that blinker on the right side, and I was unable to operate the blinker without manipulating the throttle.
Right. I remember. So when I was editing it, you said that, and that is where it seems like it's a problem because now you're changing. What if you're signaling your exit on the highway, but you don't want to let off the throttle just yet? Right.
That is very poor design that was stuck with. I have absolutely no idea why. And so there's that. And that's a really wide grip. And the video we've got up right now, it's further than you think. If you know what I mean?
To reach the brake?
It's further than you think. Not to reach the brake, to reach the blinker with your thumb.
Gotcha.
It's like if you're when I ride motorcycles, I really hover my right hand over the brake. I don't really grip the grip. I operate the grip, the throttle, but I drape my fingers over the. So to then reach my thumb the other way, it's a big reach, and I end up goosing the fucking throttle to do it.
Oh, because you're having your palm on the handle, and then reaching to that while
it ends up goosing the throttle. It just doesn't seem like a good design. It doesn't seem like you should have to move that hand for something besides throttle to brake or throttle to off.
Did you have to rotate your wrist inward?
I had to rotate my wrist more throttle to get to the blinker.
Okay.
So it just seems like there's going to be some Harley people in the comments just shitting on me for this because if you grew up with this, you probably learned how to ride it or whatever.
What was the Pan America? Did it have blinkers like that or have them all on the left side?
Pan America has new blinkers, left side only.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see if it's a traditional thing or if they change it.
It is. I think it's a traditional thing.
Oh.
They didn't do it for this bike.
Oh, okay.
No. This is the way they used to do it. This is the old school bike way. All the old bikes they make that still make, the blah, blah, blah bikes, they still have it like this.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've never ridden an old chopper thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is like, what you get with my review is guy who didn't grow up riding Harleys reviews the new Harley. That's what you're going to get. But here's the thing. That's not to say that this bike wasn't very charming in a lot of ways. It looked really good. I felt when I was riding it up PCH at 1,200 RPM in sixth gear, blah, 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 I felt like fucking Arnie in Terminator 2 rolling around LA. That bike was a Fat Boy, and this is a Fat Bob, which is a little smaller than the Fat Boy is a fucking huge bike. With steer bars. Yeah. This looked kind of like that, but it's smaller. But I felt like that. I felt like blah, 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 yes, like king of the road kind of shit. And it makes cool sounds. It definitely sounds cool on the throttle and off the throttle, blah, 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 blah,
It's pretty quiet on drive-bys, but I think, as you said, if you put an aftermarket set of headers on it or something, it'd probably be super loud.
And it's not quiet. It's not loud to others with the pipes that are on it now, but it's definitely loud enough when you're riding it. It's fun. I mean, when you hit a gear, it feels like hitting a gear in a sequential in a race car. Gunk. Gunk, gunk. It really, it's very mechanical. You want to, the newest adventure bikes, they've all got, these drive modes and, quick shifting and auto rev, shit like that, adaptive suspension. This has got none of that shit. This is gunk. Gunk,
yeah. That's what's fun about vehicles, like you were saying about the Mustang and this. The way it sounds, the way they make us feel, all that stuff. Even if it's not the best, in quotes.
It's definitely not the best.
However you measure the best is obviously very subjective also.
It's definitely not the best.
But it could be more enjoyable to ride around slowly than an adventure bike might be or something else.
It is very charming. It's a little big for lanes. I would not want this to be my only motorcycle. It's $18,000. So, there's people for whom $18,000 on a motorcycle is a shitload of money. There's people for whom it's not so much money, okay? And I'm not trying to be all richy rich and condescending and trying to be like, it's nothing. But let's be honest. If you're talking about one nice sports car, that's usually 3 or 4 or 5 nice motorcycles.
Yeah.
So I would not want this bike to be my only motorcycle. But as a part of a 5 or 6 motorcycle collection, you definitely would want to include something like this. It's super charming, and once a month I'd want to have a glub day.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
it's
for
like having
sure.
a muscle car, like a 60s muscle car in a collection,
Yeah.
just to drive around at 20 miles an hour and do burnouts.
Yeah. Like, I didn't enjoy it up in the canyons really at all, but I really liked it on PCH. I really enjoyed PCH riding with it. Like, it was fun to cruise. You know, I see the charms, but there's not a lot about it that's like objectively like, you know, great. It's just, you know.
But it's a good time.
It is a good time. I can see why people like it. And I mean,
a wave runner is not a good boat, but it's a good time.
Yeah, it is. And like, you know, I can't, like I said, I can't say that it feels old, but I imagine it feels like a brand new built old thing. It's definitely the old way. Right.
It's cool. It's like they have like 3 different trees happening at Harley now, because they've got like the adventure shit, the electric shit, and then, you know, this stuff.
Yeah, and I was supposed to get Livewire next, but they
Right.
just announced that Livewire is becoming a separate brand, a la Genesis.
Whoa.
Right. So
Wow.
so the Livewire, right, is now dead. There is an updated version of that bike that is going to be called Livewire
12
1
or whatever,
or
You're
something,
right, yeah.
or 2 or something like that. That's going to be the .2 of the original Harley-Davidson Livewire bike. So I've been talking to those people, and I was like, yeah, let's just, you know, let's circle back on that when the new bike comes out, because we don't want to. What's it called? The new news 1 day ago. It's this one. What does that say? Livewire 1. That's
Livewire 1
Yeah.
will be revealed on July 8th.
Yeah, so the Livewire 1 is the update. Did they just rip off Polestar? Did they hire the Polestar guy and he goes, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to call it, take the name of the model, make it the brand, and then put the number
Right.
1, spell it out. That's it.
Because it's the first one. It's very easy.
Right. So that's going to be that thing. So I'm excited to try the new Livewire. I think it should be really cool. I've seen them at Cars and Coffee. People have brought them.
They seem fun. Electric motorcycles seem like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You got all the torque, and they just kind of zing along. They seem very futuristic.
And people, I've asked the folks I've seen riding them if they enjoy them, and they universally have said yes, they do. So they seem really neat. So I mean, you know, thanks to Harley for letting me have a go. And as the last thing about it, like when I had that mechanical with the Pan America, which again was not the fault of the bike, someone just didn't plug a thing in correctly, and that happens. I was on the side of the road for 20 seconds before somebody on a Harley-Davidson stopped and asked if I was okay. I wasn't there for 5 minutes before a second person on a Harley-Davidson stopped and asked if I was okay. They were like, they didn't know I was on a Harley-Davidson because I was on this new shit that didn't look like a Harley. They just were like, let me stop and ask if this dude is all right. And like, that's good shit.
That's very
They
good.
looked like fucking scary bikers that had weapons. But they were, hey, you good? Can we
Yeah,
help?
are you
What's the
okay?
deal? And they ended up getting me a flatbed when that happened. So
I saw something online once. If you see a motorcycle and the helmet is on the ground behind the motorcycle on the highway, you should stop, because that's the signal for rider in distress.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, my helmet was off and sitting on the seat of the bike, so I don't know what that means.
I mean, they
but
probably just checking on you, because breaking down on a motorcycle could really suck.
it does suck, yeah. Let's get to some questions, and I don't ask any more, because there's a lot. There's a lot right now, and I don't think we can, take more. MB is Frenchie wants to know about a lawsuit that I don't know anything about.
Neither do I. Don't know.
I don't know if that's news today or over the weekend, but I missed it. And so I don't even, thanks for your question, buddy, but we're going to pass on that one because I don't know anything about it. All the Gears says, what do you think about Rivian? Well, our friend Emmy Hall has physically driven a production grade prototype truck and said it was very good and very fun.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's an attractive looking vehicle for the most part.
I agree.
It seems like the company is real. It seems like they're building cars. And as long as they don't start lying to people, I wish them luck. I'd like to drive one. If you're at Rivian, call us. Let's have a go, please.
A friend of mine shoots their photos, and he's like, the trucks work. They have a factory that works, all that other stuff. So it's not like Nikola, where the building was empty, or what Lordstown Motors, that is just what I don't know what's going to happen with them, but there's going to be some sort of.
Did I tell you I got hit up
court
by the
discussion
Aptera
happening.
people?
Ooh, I don't know what
Remember
that is.
Aptera?
No.
You'll Google it. You'll remember it.
One
This is
T?
Aptera. Aptera. Yeah. That. They have this funky three-wheeled thing that almost looks like an aircraft that they took wings off it, and you know, we saw some shit about it, and then never saw some shit again, and figured, you know, went the way of the dodo bird or whatnot. But they hit me up and asked if I wanted to go for a ride in one of their engineering prototypes with an engineer driving, and I said, please call me back when I can drive it. But maybe they will, and maybe they were insulted by that and won't. But I don't want a curated experience. This is a funky thing that may or may not be. You know, I don't want some, you know, Chairman Mao shit where it's like, look at the smiling children over here. You know, you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. Yeah.
I have been used to promote things that weren't entirely on the up and up before. And I'm not saying that this is the case here at all.
But you don't want to put yourself in the position
exactly
just in case,
where I
right.
might accidentally repeat some propaganda or something, or be, you know, given some hyper curated experience as opposed to here is a vehicle, use it as a vehicle, and let us know.
Right.
Which is a really low bar.
Yeah, that's kind of
Like, I'm not saying, like, hopefully they get to that point and will hand us a vehicle to use. But, like, that's all we want. Like, you know, like, we have to drive the thing.
Yeah.
You know, ride-alongs. Some people like ride-alongs. I'm not a ride-along guy.
they're just kind of boring.
Well, we have things to do.
Yeah.
A ride-along is fine if you are bored.
It would.
Like, really bored.
No, the car would have to be so unique. I mean,
Right.
riding in a Formula Drift car is fun because that's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But like
riding along
in
with
a
Mario
development
Andretti
car,
in the two-seater Indy car would be fun. I think that would be fun. But we're not. This isn't that.
Yeah.
Ride along in an eco car.
Riding in a car that is going to be a regular press car soon. Like if you have to do it because your magazine's like, hey, we need you to ride the new BRZ. Okay, that's your job. That's fine. But like if you can elect to do it or not do it,
Correct.
you know, we'd rather not do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're on a salary, you go where the magazine tells you to go.
That's right.
This is not that. This is Can't Get Fired Productions. We can't get fired. That's
right.
Say no. Say call us when it's interesting. Anyway, Miguel says, it's been well over 110 degrees here in NorCal. What's the best car for the heat? My AC sucks and the heat kills half my engine's power.
Anything that was used for police work.
True.
Crown Vic
Anything
never had
built
a problem.
after 2016?
That.
Look, people down here, you know, use air-cooled Volkswagens and 911s. They're great in the heat. They don't overheat.
I would just get a charger. Get a V6 charger. It's gonna be fine.
Get a cop car.
Yeah, get a cop. I'm serious. Get a cop car or something that has. I don't know what car you have, Mr. Flores, but it sounds like you also might just have a compressor issue. I just got my AC recharged, but if your car is older than like 2010, the compressor technology just drew a lot more power.
Yeah.
So if you have a new car that's having problems, that's probably a compressor issue. If it's an older car, get a newer car.
Yeah, I mean, my 911 does have air conditioning, and it does work technically. Yeah, it does.
But when we were talking about doing the leaking Southwest trip, you were like, "Oh, it's going to be really hot."
It would be but so the thing is, it works technically, but asterisk, probably sucks 40 pound-feet of torque out of the engine. You know what I mean? Completely annihilates the throttle response, which is so good in that car. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it kind of can get it choked up on the idle a little bit if you're just hitting the clutch, you know, and letting it just drop. You know, that can happen. It can kind of get, you know, because the compressor is so, you know, and you've put a pseudo hot rod cam in the car.
Right. That's
So it's
old
like-
car AC technology.
Correct. And so it's like if we had done that trip, we would have used the AC on the highway. And when we wanted to have fun, we would have not been using the AC, and it would have
been really sweaty.
They've been posting pictures of that trip, and it looked really good fun.
We should go
And
next year.
We should
Let's
go
just
next year.
bookmark it now.
By the time it like came back on, we had work and couldn't
Yeah.
go, and it's a fucking thing. Grandpa Chink says, how do you stay motivated when in a rut? It's been easy to lose focus and become less productive with all the craziness going on. How do we stay motivated? I mean, our job is pretty fun. Our job is very rarely feels all that work like. I mean, there's definitely elements of the job that are less fun than others. And there's some things about the job that can suck, like just having to sit in a lot of traffic or just, whatever, unpaid transit days or whatnot. But I don't know. There hasn't been a lot of like work ruts in our...
Yeah, I think, I don't know, whatever you're trying to do. If he's in auto sales, I don't know, why'd you go into that career?
Yeah.
And do you have a longer term plan? And if you do, try to focus on that.
There you go.
That's we went into that job for a reason. Probably you like cars or you wanted money, and you're good at selling them. So just think about the things that the job is allowing you to do, or
Yeah.
it might allow you to do.
Yeah, I mean, or if your job isn't like all that specialized, maybe change it.
Right?
Maybe do something new. We are very fortunate that we have been able to. Well, certainly me, Zach, as we've got his freedom now, which is nice. For a little while, it was not that,
Right.
But we've been able not really had to answer to a whole lot of different people, and it's never been like, oh fuck, I've got to do this thing. It's awful. And it's going to take so long, and it's really kind of like. We choose what to do and what not to do.
Yeah, it's fun.
And so that's nice. Maybe if you're in a rut, start selling more interesting cars or something. I don't know.
Or add if you have to stay with the job you have, add more interesting things to the rest of your life.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Doc also smoke weed every day. No, I'm just kidding. Doc Holliday says, "What guests would you want on the show, or can't because of scheduling or lack of connections with?"
Clarkson.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're just
that
making
would be
a wish
excellent.
list.
Yeah, go high. Scheduling is Chris Harris. I love Chris, and I'm pretty sure that Chris likes me, but he just cannot be fucking reached. I mean, I've never met anyone that I call a friend that is harder to get a hold of. It's just impossible. And I've witnessed other people having trouble trying to get a hold of him too. So I know that part's not just me.
We used to have difficulty paying him.
Yeah.
Sending him money when for driving and everything,
Yeah.
and he was hard to track down. We're
Yeah.
like, we want to give you money, and
So he's a hard one.
yeah, busy dude.
I also am, if not friends, sort of generally acquaintances with a whole lot of famous people, but I just feel so weird asking them to do radio. I don't know why. I feel like the only reason I can stay friends with these people is by not asking anything of them.
I think that's smart.
Which is an okay strategy if you want friends, but not if you want to do a radio show with celebrity guests.
Yeah, but eventually, if they like the show or they hear about it and they want to do it, they'll ask to do it.
Maybe, yeah. All right.
Like I'm buddies with Eddie Murphy, but I'm waiting for him
to be like,
reach
hey
out.
man, let's talk about cars. Wesley T says, advice for a 20-year-old starting a detailing business. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. 95% of detailing is not fucking the car up. Literally, 5% cleaning, 95% don't fuck the car up.
Is that because the reputation of fucking the car up will do far more damage?
Fucking the car up is just so much worse. Like, it's just, like, it's like, it just causes so many problems. Like, if you fuck the car up, I mean, cars cost so much money to fix when you're a detailer. And you also probably lose the customer.
Yeah.
And so
And they're friends.
The loss of a good customer, having the cost of acquiring a new one, not to mention the cost of fixing this person's car. you know, that's a Larry Casilla quote, straight up. 95% of it is just don't fuck the car up. So to that end, you know, be very careful with the aggressiveness of your pads, your chemicals, your brushes. Always err on the side of caution, and make sure you're in compliance with your local laws. I mean, in California, I don't know where you're at, but in California, you know, it's illegal to have a commercial mobile detailing business that uses water. So, you know, and it doesn't mean I don't see people water washing with fucking their name and phone number on the side of their trucks, but it doesn't mean it's not legal. So, you know, I would say that it sucks to be in compliance with laws. And it seems like you know, when if all your paperwork is in order and then no one asks to see your paperwork, you're like, why did I even bother with any of this? But the one time someone fucking asks and your whole business is on the line, you gotta have that shit ready to go.
Yeah.
So, you know, treat it like a business. Make sure it's legal. Make sure you have, you know, insurance and stuff like that, and work that shit into your business plan.
Yeah.
And your pricing.
Right. You got to know the craft, and you have to know how to do it legally.
And if you're mobile, factor in your transit time and your fuel costs and all that stuff into the cost of a detail.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. And don't be afraid to ask for real money for stuff. I mean, you know, go around, you know, do market research. Hire a couple mobile detailers yourself. I assume it's mobile, but whatever. Whatever, if it's mobile or shop, whatever. Invest the money and your own car into getting other details from other people and seeing what they charge and how their work comes out. I mean, this is just basics.
Yeah.
You know? You're
doing market research or competitor research for like $100, $120.
Really, really cheap competitors research. Just get a bunch of details. Give details to your friends. Have your friend go get a detail and go with them and see the prices, the service, how does it look, That's
a very good idea.
And take notes. It's just very easy stuff. Just like do the research like it's an actual business and then act accordingly. And you'll be much better positioned. Yeah, treat it like it's a real business, not just like it's, like fucking cash in the pocket, cash into the gas pump. Like you're just be detailing for the rest of your life doing that shit.
Right.
And then figure out when you start, because your body will fall apart when you're 40. So if you're 20, your first 5 years detailing every night should be thinking about, how do I stop detailing? What's the thing after detailing?
Moving to management.
Original Jake says, I bought a 2010 Crown Vic Police Interceptor for $2,000. It has typical 4.6 timing chain slap. Fix it or drive it till the chain flies out.
I mean, I don't know. It depends on how much that costs to fix.
Is that an interference engine? If you snap a timing chain, do the fucking valves smash into the pistons or not?
I don't know, but it seems like if you already know that you're having a problem, can you fix it yourself? I'm assuming no. So I don't know. I don't know what it costs to do that service, honestly. Because if the car was 2 Gs.
Is timing chain slap, is that a technical term?
I don't know. If they're known for it, it didn't happen to my car, but maybe it's just the timing chain's getting loose or a tensioner's getting loose, and then it's eventually going to get out of sync, or the chain's going to fall off or something, which isn't very good. I mean, it seems
what does a replacement engine cost? What does a replacement Crown Vic engine cost?
$400 probably. But then you have to do an engine out service, or you have to swap an engine, and
right.
If this person is capable of swapping an engine
for like $1,500.
What?
For like $1,500, $2,000, you could probably. Someone would swap an engine.
So this guy, I think his brain is going, should I just drive it till the chain flies out and then buy another $2,000 Crown Vic? So the question is, what does it cost to have a pro do the timing chain? If it's less than getting another car and saves you the time of getting another car, and you can afford it, do it. Or go on YouTube and learn to do the service yourself.
Yeah, and also, I've never heard of timing chain slap, but like, if you're just waiting on catastrophe,
that's not a good idea.
That's just because now it's like, what, you're gonna put your wife and kids in the car, you're gonna put your friends in the car, someone you care about in the car. Like, are you gonna literally risk your engine seizing at speed? And I don't know if it's an interference engine or not. I don't know if it'll just turn off or if it will actually explode.
Dude, if that shit turns off though on the highway, now you don't have power steering.
Now you're
Which
fucked.
way you're going?
Yeah.
You're going where you were going before. Like, that's not good. And then you got to get it towed from the highway and deal with all that crap.
I can't possibly imagine even thinking about it from a financial perspective, how I would be okay driving a time bomb, knowing it was a time bomb. You know what I mean? I don't see how, unless I was making a video or something and I literally had a support truck. Like when we make those videos, can I just say that when we make these $500 challenge videos, there is a support vehicle at all times. You are not ever stranded on the side of the road in a $500 challenge video because we don't want to be. But if you're just driving some shit that, how much? To repair a timing chain?
So Google says that the average cost of repairing that is $616 to $765. So,
I mean, look, if $600 more into this thing gets you another couple 100,000 miles,
right?
I'd say that's probably money invested.
Totally.
Money well invested.
Yeah, shop around. Call around.
Yeah.
All that shit.
Okay. Trent says, I love the old bar story. Oh, yeah, right. Well, I forgot we talked about that. See? I told you that was a thing. It's in one and out the other.
Yeah, we got 5.
I have a Pontiac Vibe GT that I really like.
Yeah.
That's the
secret
it's
matrix.
the secret Toyota Matrix, yeah. I drove a Volkswagen GTI and Mazda 3 recently and loved them. I mean, listen, Trent, I appreciate your question, but there's nothing new under the sun here. I mean, Focus ST and Civic Si, like you said. GTI, I mean, the Subaru WRX came as a hatchback if you want a couple years ago. I mean, I don't know what time. A Vibe GT is like a 15-year-old car, right? So are we talking about the GTI and Mazda 3 like brand new? Are we talking about a Focus? Focus ST doesn't exist anymore, brand new, but like obviously Fiesta ST, but like should we just start listing off every hot hatch available?
I get, like you said, I don't know if he's talking about the new versions or the old versions of these cars. Like any of the new ones is going to feel like a magic carpet compared to what you have because it's got technology in it instead of just like gauges. So, but the Vibe is a Toyota. It's going to run forever. All these are like, let's see, turbo engine, maybe turbo or high-strung NA. Like there's that factor. There's a lot of questions left unanswered, Trent.
I mean, yeah, the Honda Fit is the Fit NA still?
Yeah.
The Fit is still NA.
I think they just discontinued it, though.
They just stopped making the Fit?
I think they did.
Oh. I mean, I think we just listed every hatchback for sale in America.
Between these, I would prefer to have the GTI because it's something that you can kind of grow with, but it's the most expensive one out of those 3.
Right.
4. Yeah.
And the GTI's controls are very light. That may be something you want, or that may be something you don't want.
True.
So, yeah. Jonas says, advice on a first-time service for a Rolex. It is 2013 Batman. Oh, hour hands. Okay. My first advice for service for a modern Rolex, and by modern I mean, let's call it 1980s or newer, is do not service a working watch. A Rolex is like, it's not like we're talking about some crazy rare thing from like the 50s. There's all the parts in the world available for a modern Rolex. There's a real scam that goes on where they convince you that you need to service it preventatively at an extraordinary cost. You do not. When the watch stops keeping time properly, the second hand stops moving or it loses minutes a day, you'll know. My dad, who was in here, I don't know if people saw the Submariner he was wearing, bought it in 1990, wore it every day for 27 years.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, one day, he said, all of a sudden it started losing like 10 minutes a day. Sent it to service, not at Rolex, at an independent. Independents respect your wishes. And I'll come back to that in a second. And they also cost about half as much. Sent it for a regular service, blah, 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 blah. It was like $600 and he's good to go again.
Time and chain service.
Exactly.
Right.
Why an independent? Because Rolex, as well as many manufacturers, do not treat vintage watches as anything special. So if you send them a watch with patina and you like that patina, they'll polish it.
Really?
Like it's brand new. You might have patinaed hands. They'll replace them shits. Brand new hands. They'll replace the dial if there's any tarnish.
Without being asked to?
No. They make the watch, they totally factory freshen it.
Wow.
And they charge you a lot of money. Now, you may want that. And that's fine. If you want to service your watch and have it come back looking like it just left the store again, that's what they're going to do at Rolex. But if you don't want, and this goes for a lot of manufacturers as well, but if you have patinaed your watch, or even fucking more importantly, if you spent extra money because a watch was patinaed, which is real, very real, and you send that watch to Rolex, they're going to make that patina go away.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And so you should not do that.
That'd be so terrible. That'd be such a bummer.
Right.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So this person, I recommend you go to a high-quality independent shop that can service that watch, and you just have a standard service done. And then you wait until it stops working again to have it serviced the next time. Yep. The only exception to that, of course, is brand new Rolexes have 5-year warranty. So, if any of your watch is under warranty, use
like a car.
Use the warranty.
Don't go to the dealership after the warranty expires.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too expensive.
Exactly. Ramon says, his girl's going to do stunt driving class. She should video it. Do I think people would watch? Depends what she's willing to wear, Ramon, and how good she looks. I'll be honest with you. This is entertainment business.
I mean, honestly,
she's hot and fun. Probably people will watch.
Because driving instruction videos do not do well. And we were talking to David Patterson about this. He's like, I did, this ice drifting and this other thing. He's like, the videos just don't do views because it's just not as exciting to watch us learn something at low speeds, especially like stunt driving class. Probably going to be a lot of cones and things. I want to do those classes. They're fun to do, but the video won't do great unless, as you said,
hot, naked, or she crashed something.
Right.
Those are your 3 ways to go viral.
Does she have? Is this her first video at all? Did she want to do that? Continue?
Definitely. If it's her first video, no one's going to give a shit.
No one's going to give a shit. It won't get any views. It'll just add stress to her day.
Worse, her friends will all watch it and be like, "Oh my God, you're amazing! You should just do this," and then it won't actually be that good. False confidence. It'd be bad.
Yeah, I would just focus on learning the class.
Yeah.
She's going there to learn to drive.
Yeah.
Don't try to learn to film the same day.
That's much more practical advice. That's very good. J. John says, what seems like a good age to get a little girl into karting? My toddler loves cars and trucks. I don't know. I think Josh Kalis' daughter was fucking drifting a Power Wheels at 4.
Yeah, those videos
He installed a handbrake on a Power Wheels and she was
so
drifting
cool.
that shit. I mean, I think you could probably have a kid karting by 5 or 6, probably, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know. It's your kid.
I think a lot of F1 drivers start when they're really, really, really young.
Yeah.
So, sure.
I mean, if she's into driving, like, let her drive stuff. You know what I mean? Like, start with, like, really slow stuff and let her drive faster stuff. Like, put a 2-year-old in a fucking Power Wheels. Like, they'll figure that out.
Just see if they can slalom at slow speed.
Right.
And then you can put, like, a drill motor in those and make them go fast if you want to.
I mean, look, my dad got me a go-kart when I was 9. I would have been perfectly capable of driving it 2 years before that at 7. And if he had allowed me, I didn't really understand that it was possible for me to say, Dad, I would like to get into kart racing. And that there would maybe, because I was kind of rich enough to do it, that there might have been a path to actually do some like kart racing, but I didn't even know to like ask or try.
Right.
So I had a go-kart that I fucked around with, but like if I had shown any interest, or my dad was like, if my dad came up to me and was like, see these guys racing these things, would you like to do that? I'd be like, yes. And like, it wouldn't have been a tough sell.
Just no one in the family knew about that.
I didn't know to ask, and he didn't know to offer. I'm glad. Well, he knew not to offer.
Right. Yeah.
Let me rephrase that.
Yeah, he probably had all the magazines like, nope.
But if she's into driving stuff and you just keep providing opportunities for her to drive cooler and cooler stuff, shouldn't be that hard of a sell.
Yeah.
And eventually she may be like, I'm over this and want to ride a horse or something. But till then, just keep giving her better shit to drive. It's not that hard. Start with a Power Wheels. Work your way up.
Yep.
Chappie says, with Bugatti shipping out Chirons for press drives, do you think they're struggling to sell them? Well, I don't know about struggling, but I think there are. I think that they're building more of them than they were building Veyrons. B, they're more expensive than the Veyrons. C, there's substantially more competition. If you want to spend over $1 million on a car, you now have 5, 6, 7 choices instead of one or maybe two. And I also think that they may have changed their strategy a little bit to do, they're not loaning the cars out. They are doing regional drives in conjunction with customer drives. I think that I just think that they're allowing a few more people to drive them than they were originally. And I mean, I don't know about struggling to sell them, but it may not have, I don't know. I don't think they're struggling, but I think they might have to do a little bit of actual work to sell them now because there is some competition.
Yeah, before maybe they just sold themselves instantly. I don't know. Were there press drives of Veyrons back then? Like I know magazines had them because it was such an important car.
Buff Books had them. Yeah. I mean, look, the Veyron came out the same year YouTube was launched.
Right.
So YouTubers were not a thing that Bugatti gave a shit about in 2006 and 7. Right now, Chiron comes out 2019, 2020. YouTubers have the same kind of profile that magazines have. So I'm sure it's not maybe it is the same press person. If it's the same press person, I'm sure they've learned that these are people with audiences, and some of these audience members have money. And B, if it's a new press person, they brought that knowledge with them. So I think that I don't know because I haven't followed the sales, but I think they're just making with the times.
It's a good point because they gave the Veyron to magazines, and now they have to give the Chiron to magazines and YouTube videos.
Veyron was 06. YouTube, the same year YouTube launched. So did the Veyron.
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
Tudor watches.
Tudor watches. I think Tudor makes a fine quality product. Tudor is the unashamed budget luxury Rolex, the budget Rolex. Tudor's owned by Rolex. They use very similar designs to the Rolex sport watches. They have very similar technical capabilities in terms of diving and waterproofness and stuff like that. Their designs are really nice. They're good-looking watches. And if you can't get a Rolex or you can't afford a Rolex, they're a great alternative. They're really made well. Or if you want that kind of design, but you are like, fuck Rolex and their stupid wait lists and whatever, then they're nice. That's it. I like them. 3231 says, for 10 grand, should I get a 3rd gen TL Acura or a 3rd gen Lexus LS 430? Other fun to drive options for a commuter car. All right, let me just clarify that Lexus LSs are not fun. I don't know where you got the impression that a Lexus LS 430 is fun, but let me blow that up for you right now. The Lexus LS is one of the finest automobiles ever produced. It is not fun.
No.
And no, a brand new one isn't fun, let alone a fucking 15-year-old one. Lexuses are comfortable, isolated, durable, very well made, and when cared for will last a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And they ride like clouds when they're taken care of. When you have good spring shocks and bushings, they ride beautifully. They are not fun. They handle poorly. The brakes aren't great. You have no manual control of the gearbox, really. Like, they suck balls to drive in corners. So let's not pretend like that car's fun.
The fun one they made was like the GS.
The GS.
The V8.
Yeah,
and
the
it was
GS
still
430.
Soft and stuff, but at least that's the one pretending to be fun.
Right.
It wants to hang out with the M3, but they're like, that's adorable.
It was definitely funner.
It was way more fun.
Right,
or the 350 F Sport, which I'm thinking is probably out of their budget just based on what they've written here.
3rd gen TL, meaning like the 05, 07 cars, was like one of the nicest Acuras ever made.
True.
And relatively speaking, probably pretty fun.
More fun to drive than the
LS
for sure.
Yeah, and it's a good-looking car.
Yep.
The seats were very good. We're talking, again, 15 years, but at the time, the seats were very good. Other 10K fun cars? Bro, that's...
Plus comfortable with a child seat.
I think
the TL is
we're
the way
really
to go.
reaching.
TSX?
The TL, yeah.
You go TSX,
or just
which is
abandoned
smaller.
fun. Abandoned fun. Or go GS, Lexus GS.
Yeah.
They're cool. 10K, I don't know if that'll get you the right one, but...
Find one with a, cheaply swapped 2J.
Maybe like, can you get a
No
Legacy GT wagon? Like
Yeah,
with the
probably.
turbo motor.
Yeah,
If you can
I
find a
bet you
legacy GT wagon with the turbo
Like the
motor,
06,
yeah,
somewhere
that
around
could
there?
be cool. I don't know if they're down to 10 for like, because enthusiasts really like those.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah.
I think TL or GS.
Yeah. I like your thought process for Acura though. Acura's that's good.
Like the one Andrew Collins used to have. That was a sweet
Or
car.
like an Accord with a manual, Accord V6 manual. You can find those. I
Yep.
think it might be a 2-door.
They are.
To get the manual.
Yeah,
but, yeah. Couple thanks for your donations. Dual 0911 thoughts on the new Rimac Nevera. We haven't discussed it. I don't know a lot about it. It looks very cool.
It looks cool and it's 2,000 horsepower.
Yeah. I mean, this electric shit is completely out of hand. You know, we discussed the Plaid on the last show. And it's impressive. It is impressive. It is crazy. Like, I'm not going to poo-poo something that goes really fucking fast. But like, fuck do we do with it? You know,
they just show up and park it. I mean, that's what everybody around here that has a Koenigsegg or whatever else. I like the company and I like, Mate, like the whole story is awesome. So I am a champion for these cars and I hope people like them.
It's a good looking car.
Theirs. Yeah, it's a good
like
looking
somewhere
car.
between a GT1 car, a Koenigsegg. There's actually, I see a little C8 Corvette in there too.
A little like a little rounded, more rounded, which is nice.
Yeah. It is a very pretty car, and I'd love to fucking drive one. I mean, obviously, I'd love to have a go in one. I just like, this thing, this headline runs a quarter mile at 8.6.
Wow.
Like, it's real crazy. And I don't want to be like the guy like in the 30s who thought your face would fucking tear off if you crossed 100 miles an hour. That's probably the teens. But like, I just like, we are approaching the limits of human reaction time.
Yeah.
We actually are now. Like, I think I feel like we are, right?
Well, I mean, that's why some of the quicker racing drivers are like the 19, 20-year-olds because their reaction time is better a lot of the times than the guys in the 20s and 30s. But the guys in the 20s and 30s have like wisdom and strategy and all these other things.
But like, so we're not talking about racing drivers.
No,
we're talking
I know
about
not.
people who have earned enough money to spend $2.5 million on a car.
Most of whom are not 19.
No, those people are not 19. They're not racing drivers.
Yeah.
They're just rich guys.
I think maybe it's one of those things where because they're so expensive. Remember we talked to the guy with the Bugatti guy about like this customer is mature enough to know they've gotten in some big shoes.
Right.
They got to be careful.
Right.
Whereas
That's why we're going to
the
see
Huracan owner
Teslas.
less.
We're going to
Yeah.
see Tesla plaids fucking sailed into telephone poles.
Yeah, because
That is
so
going to be
quick.
the official vehicle of Hold My Fucking Beer. It's going to be.
It does nines. Watch.
Yeah, it's going to be Hold My Sour Beer. Hold
God, that's so gross.
Hold My Frenet Bronca.
That's also disgusting.
I'd love to have a go in the Rimac Nevera. Maybe
Go to Croatia.
Dude, when we can, that would be cool. What if we did the yacht thing to Croatia and
So down.
did a Rimac
So down.
in Croatia? That'd be
100%
fucking
support
G.
this.
That would be G. Radeon Boy says, I have a 2020 Volvo V6 wagon with the T6, but also landed a Civic Type R for MSRP. Nice. Obviously, love the comfort and looks in the Volvo, but the performance in the Civic Type R. If I can only keep one, which one should I keep? I'd keep the Civic.
For sure.
Yeah, the Civic is still comfortable enough
Yeah, the
that
seats
you
were
can use
comfy.
it as an only car, provided it's not like just horrible weather all the time.
And it will probably hold its value a little better than the V60.
Way better.
And it's cooler. It's way more interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Last one. Daniel Woland says, there's a reason. Well, you don't explain it. There's a reason Justin Bell, there's a reason automotive air conditioning has gotten better since 2010. Ask Justin Bell to tell his story about overheating in the C5R next time he's on the podcast. Well, okay.
Why? Why has it gotten better?
So did this air conditioning in the C5R overheat in Le Mans and put them out of the race and they were like, never again?
I don't know, but I also want to know what technology changed.
Yeah,
in
like what the
2010.
fuck? Like, can you just like help us out a little, bruh?
Dang it, Daniel.
Bruh. Hold My Kombucha. Yeah, I like some of them. I like some of the Hold My's. Hold some of my's. whatnot. Anything left there?
Hold my aloe vera water.
Is that say Johan? Rohan.
Rohan, last one.
Looking to replace the wife's Macan with something more fun. Looking at C63 versus C63S.
Yes.
Is the S worth an extra $10K for a daily? No. But here's the thing about the S. Whatever you spend on it up front, you get half of it back on the other end.
So
right?
you spend 10, you get 5.
You get 5 back when you sell it versus, a regular one. So you're not really spending 10, you're parking 5 of it and spending 5. In my opinion, yes. Because does the S still come with the better diff?
I don't know, probably.
The last time I
to
drove a C63S, it came with a better diff. And when you have that kind of engine, you want the good diff to match it. And so I think that's what you get for the S. You also get more power. You get 30 more horsepower and a bunch more torque, 30 more torques. And what do you get? Wait, what does it say? Where's the S? Only the S has the traction control system, 9-step traction control system. Keep going down, Zach. What else do we get? The S has dynamic engine mounts. The S did 0 to 60 in 3.7. Let's see.
At Lightning Lap, it was competitive with the CTS-V, which you kind of expect.
Yeah. I'd get the S, honestly. I mean, for the power and all the stuff you get and the fact that you're going to get half of it back, I'd probably just get the S. Here's where I wouldn't get the S. When they make you buy a stupid roof. Like in the crossover, the GLC, you have to buy the slopey roof to get the S. I would rather have the good roof than the S.
Yeah.
But in the C63, where it doesn't affect the here we go, the body style, it's I'd probably just get the S.
I think this is the regular
Yeah.
C63.
Yeah, get the S. Get the S. Also, don't be a bitch. That's
Do
our show.
burnouts in your wife's daily. It'd be fun.
That is our show. That is our show. What do we have the rest of this week? Is there someone on the schedule? Oh, wait. I think Derek D is coming in on Friday. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think Derek D, the host of Fastlane Daily, is coming to L.A. and will be on the show.
Hell
I believe it's Friday. I had a little beef with him, but I squashed it.
You guys going to fight?
No. We talked it out. Because of the Amel thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he wrote a letter in support of Amel for Amel to get a reduced sentence, but he didn't really know what a piece of shit Amel was.
Yeah.
Apparently, JF didn't really tell him that. It wasn't part of the thing, part of their relationship. Whereas I think it was part of our relationship to discuss it because of the entrepreneur aspect of it and whatever. But he and a couple other people that didn't know what happened either also wrote letters in support of Amel to get a lighter sentence. And I thought Derek knew and wrote the letter anyway.
Right.
It turns out he didn't know, and so he says he didn't know, and I believe him when he says he didn't know. So that was the whole thing.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
I mean, look, if if a friend of yours wrote a letter trying to reduce the sentence from another guy who fucked you, you might be a little annoyed.
Right, you'd be annoyed. And
you'd be a little annoyed.
What's the deal?
Yeah, but he didn't know though, so it's okay. So he's coming to LA. He's coming on the show. So we're going to talk about the old days. I guess that's what it is. The early days. We can shit on Amel on the show.
Nice.
Be great.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Is he still in jail?
I think he's out, which sucks. So he might be listening. So fuck you.
Right.
Eat a dick.
What fraud are you committing today?
Eat a dick. Anyway, that's our show. Thanks for listening today. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Zach and I filmed the Mach E long-term update this morning, as well as the is the Mach E a true Mustang Mach comparison to Mach 1? And we'll see you later this week with Derek D on the live show. And have a great day. Bye.